AITA 4, letting my stepdaughter almost drown when her mom dropped her off without warning. I, 31F, live in a house that's currently undergoing renovation, so I'm back and forth between living there and staying elsewhere. It's my home, and I usually live alone when I'm there. My husband, 35M, has a daughter, 5F, from a previous relationship. She's sweet, and I've always tried to build a good relationship with her, though we're still getting to know each other. This incident happened on a Saturday. I had just come back to the house around 6 p.m. My husband called to say he was stuck at work and asked if it was okay if his ex dropped off his daughter at our place, since he couldn't pick her up. I said sure, no problem. I was expecting them to arrive soon, so I just chilled in the living room and turned on the TV. By 8 p.m., I hadn't heard anything. No knock, no doorbell, no text. I just assumed they were running late or plans had changed. That's when my dog started barking and ran to the window facing the backyard. I got up to check and noticed the pool water was rippling in a weird way. When I went outside to see what was going on, I saw her. The little girl was floating in the pool, unconscious. My heart stopped. I didn't even think. I jumped in, pulled her out, and saw that she wasn't breathing. I started doing CPR and called the ambulance while trying to revive her. It was the most terrifying moment of my life. Thankfully, the ambulance arrived in about 10 minutes, and they were able to resuscitate her. She was taken to the hospital, and by some miracle, she made a full recovery. But that's where the chaos really started. Apparently, her mom had dropped her off without knocking, without texting or calling, and just left her in front of the house. A house her daughter had never even been to before. I had no idea she was there. None. When her mother found out what happened, she came to the house and immediately started screaming at me, accusing me of trying to murder her child, saying I was a monster, and telling everyone I let her daughter almost drown. I tried to explain that I had no idea she'd been dropped off, but she didn't care. She told me she was going to hold me underwater, so I know how it feels. Then she spit in my face. The police had to come and physically hold her back because she kept trying to lunge at me. My husband arrived around then and tried to calm her down, but it was already a full-blown scene. She was screaming in front of the neighbors, saying I left a 5-year-old alone by the pool, which, again, I didn't even know she was here. After that night, I started getting calls from her family. Her dad, her sister, even people I didn't know, yelling at me, accusing me of being a danger to the child, threatening to take legal action, and saying things like you shouldn't be allowed around kids. They completely believed her version of the story, that I was home, saw the girl arrive, and just let her wander into the backyard and nearly drown. Even people I considered mutual friends started pulling away, assuming I was guilty. All of this despite the fact that I was the one who found her. I pulled her out of the water. I called the ambulance. I performed CPR. If I hadn't gotten up when the dog barked, she probably would have died. Still, I couldn't help but feel guilty. I started asking myself, did I screw up? The backyard has a gate, and it's usually locked, but I'd left it unlocked that day because of the renovation work. I hadn't expected any visitors, let alone an unsupervised child being dropped off without warning. I started blaming myself. What if I'd gone to check the front door, just in case? What if I had double-checked the gate? But I also realized how unreasonable it was to expect me to just know a 5-year-old had been left alone outside. Who does that? After a few days, I stopped beating myself up and started getting angry. I made a mistake with the gate, yes, but that doesn't justify what happened afterward. The threats, the screaming, the defamation. I wasn't even given a chance to explain myself before people painted me as a monster. I sat down with my husband and laid out some boundaries. I told him I wasn't comfortable being around his ex, and I wouldn't tolerate her ever stepping foot on my property again unless he was there. He agreed. We're now working on getting stricter custody terms in place, including supervised drop-offs and better communication. I also reported the threats and harassment to the police, not to press charges, but to make sure there was a record. I've upgraded the locks, added security cameras, and I'm installing a pool fence, even though the law in my country doesn't require one. I've done everything I can to make sure this never happens again, but I still feel like I'm being punished for something I didn't do. I made one mistake, leaving a gate unlocked. But everything else? That's on the people who failed to communicate, who abandoned a child, and who are now trying to dodge responsibility by making me the villain. So Reddit, AITA?